Once upon a time, there was a man named John Wick who lived with his beloved wife Helen in New York City. He awakens to a gray day. He had flashbacks of the time he spent with Helen before she passed out in his arms recently. She suffered a disease that ultimately took her life. The day of her funeral has arrived. Marcus, an old friend of John's, comes up to him following the funeral to express his sympathies. The following evening, John receives a delivery. It's a tiny beagle. A letter from Helen is discovered by John. She wrote to him saying that she had accepted her own death, and that she now wanted John to discover his. John breaks down in tears. He walks the dog outside and examines its flower-adorned collar, which led John to deduce that Helen had given the dog the name Daisy. Daisy rides along with John as he drives around in his Mustang. 3 Russian mobsters, including Iosef Tarasov, the son of mob boss Vigo Tarasov, stop for gas at the same time as him. Iosef approaches John's car, compliments it, and then inquires as to the asking price. It's not for sale, claims John. Then Iosef insults John in Russian, thinking that he won't understand, but John proves him wrong by speaking in a low voice. Iosef then tries to pet Daisy, but John frightens him off. One of Iosef's friends enters the car and bids John a good day. Daisy needs to use the restroom as John gets ready for bed. When they descend the stairs, John is confronted by 2 shadowy men, one of whom strikes him in the head with a bat. He begins beating John as Daisy whimpers. The dog's neck is broken by one of the men who approaches her. Iosef, who knocks John out, is revealed when the man removes his mask. Later, when John awakens, he walks over to his dead puppy and strokes her head. Iosef drives John's car to Aurelio's shop. When Aurelio sees the car, he immediately recognizes it and asks Iosef where he got it. Iosef boasts about the owner of the car he stole and the dog he killed for them. Iosef is struck in the face by Aurelio. Iosef storms out and announces that he will give the car to someone else. Later, when John stops by the store to inquire if Iosef stopped by, Aurelio confirms that Iosef is the one who stole his car and killed his dog by giving John his name. Vigo calls Aurelio later that evening to inquire as to why he struck Iosef. Because according to Aurelio, he killed John Wick's dog and stole his car. Vigo merely says, "Oh." John in the meantime enters the basement with a sledgehammer and starts smashing the floor apart. He finds a cache of gold coins and weapons. Iosef and Vigo discuss the situation in Iosef's home. He strikes his son twice in the solar plexus to correct him and remind him of the person he just hurt. Iosef is informed by Vigo that John Wick once worked with him before he met Helen and left. According to reports, John was known as the Boogeyman, or more specifically as the person who was called in to kill the Boogeyman. To try to solve the problem, Vigo calls John, but John cuts him off. That evening, Vigo sends a group of 12 hitmen to John's house to execute him. John kills all of them fairly quickly. He fights with them like a highly professional hitman, and kills them one by one, fighting the last few before stabbing the last one in the heart. The door is knocked on by a policeman. When John asks the officer if there has been a noise complaint, the officer replies in the affirmative. He asks, pointing to the body behind John, if John is back in business. John claims that he is merely organizing some things. The officer exits after wishing him luck. To clean up the scene and dispose of the bodies, John calls in a cleaning crew he has worked with in the past. They appear to know that this is not the last time they will assist him. Marcus, a friend of Wick's, meets with Vigo, who offers him a $2 million contract in exchange for killing Wick. Additionally, he tells his assistant Avi to make calls to other candidates for the position. Marcus accepts with ease. John arrives at the Continental Hotel in Lower Manhattan, where he stays while he conducts business. He recognizes Perkins. John meets another old friend, Winston, the manager and owner of the Continental. John asks, and Winston tells him that Iosef is at a club called Red Circle. John enters the nightclub where Iosef and his friends are having fun. Iosef is enjoying a night of champagne and women in a posh Russian bathhouse when John first kills one of his goons and enters the club's basement. When they see John, he starts shooting at them, and Iosef flees. John uses his exceptional sharpshooting gunfight skills to dispatch every hitman in his path, but he loses Iosef as he drives off in a getaway car. One of Vigo's men stabbed John with a bottle in the club. He returns to the Continental to have the wound in his side stitched up. John is warned by the doctor that if he exerts himself, his stitches might come undone. John claims that the bourbon he had earlier ordered will take care of the painkiller portion of his recovery. Marcus climbs to the roof of the structure across the street at night and fixes his sights on John as he sleeps. He observes someone entering the mirror. To warn John, he fires a shot. This is Perkins. John dodges her shots as she begins to fire at him. She informs him that if she violates the hotel's rules and murders him, Vigo has increased the contract to $4 million. Until he puts Perkins in a headlock and offers her mercy in exchange for information. He fights Perkins with difficulty and outstanding close combat skills. She informs John that Vigo keeps the majority of his assets, including cash and evidence of blackmail, in a church's basement. For one of their organization's gold coins, John knocks Perkins out and leaves her with Harry, a business acquaintance. Harry keeps Perkins restrained to a chair despite her thumb being dislocated so she can escape. Before shooting Harry, she exits the vehicle and covers his face with a pillow. John visits the church where Vigo keeps his cash and business records in secret. John demands the priest show him where the vault is after killing the other guards in the church. He dismisses the female employees of the vault and sets everything on fire. Just before being hit by a hail of gunfire, Vigo finds out about the fire thanks to John. Despite killing the majority of Vigo's men, John is knocked to the ground when an SUV collides with another, knocking him unconscious. When Vigo captures him, he questions why the man would go to such extremes to exact revenge over a dog and a car. John explains to him that Iosef stole the dog, which was a gift from his dying wife. Additionally, he warns Vigo that failing to hand Iosef over to him will result in his death. He is left with Vigo's goons so they can suffocate him with a plastic bag. Marcus, who is observing from the next building, kills one hitman by shooting him in the head so that John can kill the other. Vigo's getaway car is shot at by John, who then is the only one left alive. Iosef is hiding in a safe house in Brooklyn and Vigo is compelled to inform John of this. Although there are armed men guarding the safe house, John kills them all anyway and storms the location. Iosef makes another attempt to flee, but John catches him and kills him. Vigo sends his goons to find Marcus at his house in retaliation for Iosef's passing and for failing to kill John. They beat him there until Vigo and Perkins fatally shot him. Just before boarding a helicopter to leave the city, Vigo makes a call to John to inform him of this. Winston, the proprietor of the Continental Hotel, calls Perkins to a meeting while he is still waiting for John to arrive at Marcus's house. She meets Winston and 4 other men in Central Park's Bethesda arcade. Winston informs her that because of her violation of the Continental's rules, her membership has been revoked. She is killed by the 4 men. The same cleaner who assisted John in removing the assassins' bodies from his home is waiting for Winston as he leaves, and she gives him several coins. John locates Marcus' body and departs to defeat Vigo. He spots the bad guys making their way to the helicopter and tries to hit them with his car. John rams Avi with his car after Vigo orders Avi to kill him outside. Vigo tries to tip John's car off the cliff, but John escapes unharmed. The two then engage in a rainy hand-to-hand struggle. When John tries to stab Vigo, Vigo pushes the knife into himself to break John's arm. John then grabs the knife from his stomach and stabs Vigo in the neck. He abandons him to perish. John sees a video of Helen telling him they need to go home while he is resigned to dying from his wounds on his phone. He walks home after treating his injuries at a neighboring animal hospital and adopting a pit bull puppy that was going to be put down. My dear brothers and sisters, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our video. Additionally, press the bell icon to receive notifications of our new videos. If you don't like our video, then you can dislike it and give us your valuable feedback so that we can improve our future videos. We believe that in order to succeed on our journey on YouTube, we need your help in every possible way. Please comment below with the name of which movie explanation you want to watch in our upcoming videos. I love you all. See you in our upcoming videos. Bye.